NAACP award-winning writer-producer John Donnelly, inducted into the Arkansas Black Hall of Fame, John Donnelly Productions presents, in association with Media Vision, Celebrate Juneteenth with Ideas for Solutions.
So I was looking for a time before slavery and black became married. So dividing the world up ethnically or racially was a deliberate and sustained event that grew.
Hands up! Don't shoot! This is our time!
My name is Chelsea Miller. I am one of the co-founders of Freedom March NYC.
Hi, I'm Nayeli Dari, and I'm one of the co-founders of Freedom March NYC.
Every day, black lives in this country, we fight for our freedom!
Struck me really deeply. America, if we're one family, if we truly are e pluribus unum.
We've taken many steps forward. That doesn't mean there's not still work to be done.
Are examples of how Asian Americans have been treated as less than.
Underneath our skin, we all bleed red blood. We are all connected.
We are wanting people to understand. We want them to know that the enslaved were still enslaved for 2.5 years after they've been free.
So, what exactly is Juneteenth?
Every year on June 19th, people come together to celebrate the end of slavery in the United States. And you thought I was talking about the Emancipation Proclamation. No, this holiday is known as Juneteenth. On June 19, 1865, Union soldiers led by Major General Gordon Granger arrived at Galveston, Texas, with the news that the war had ended and the enslaved were now free. By the way, the Emancipation Proclamation was in 1863. This was very late. Now, the term Juneteenth is a combination of June and 19.
I just might fail, but Lord knows I tried. Sure as the stars fill up the sky. Stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home. Far across the river, can you hear freedom calling, calling me to answer? Gonna keep on keeping on. I'm gonna stay.
Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world. Harriet Tubman.
Hi, we're the Tyson Mothers, and we are so very blessed to be surrounded by family, community, and love. And this is the griot of our family, our mother, who turned 90 years old this year, who has passed down her stories of trials, tribulations, and overcoming adversity, to be one of those who has paved the way.
Happy Juneteenth.
I am still grappling with the fact that I have entered the historical record.
Because we are our brother's keeper. And if we understand truly that no one is free until everyone is free, we will recycle black dollars by supporting black businesses, urban gardens, black farmers, and black artists like painters and sculptors and the like. We support black-owned tech companies and teach our children how to invest their money so they're able to leave a financial legacy for their children.
Hey Bess, I'm from Los Angeles, California.
Happy Juneteenth, everybody. I'm Gabriel Espina from Montino, California.
Happy Juneteenth, everybody. I'm Amir Walker. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. History is repeating itself, unfortunately. We're not learning from the things of the past. We're kind of going backwards in some ways. Yeah.
It's a fear. It's a fear of, others. We tend to sit next to the person that is familiar to us instead of sitting next to someone that's different from us. So I think it stems from even as a child.
Yeah, there's no integration when we're like young kids. A lot of people are separated communities from the start. And I think it's just because for some people it's like their culture. Like they really protect their culture and what they believe in. I think the most important thing is to be conscious and to act. Don't be passive. Like if you see something happen, you know, speak up.
Often, just love one another. It's not that hard.
One of the solutions for racism in America is for Black Americans, or freedmen as I like to call them, to become more politically and civically engaged in our communities, build better relationships with each other, with our elected leaders and appointed leaders in our governments, so that we can exercise our rights and get the things that the justice we deserve from this country.
Juneteenth is something that we here understand in the United States as being the period from January 1863 to June of 1865, when Black people were free and they didn't know it, okay? And white people trying to make money on us continue to oppress us. But do we know that Juneteenth happened all over the world? It happened in Puerto Rico, it happened in Dominican Republic, it happened in Haiti, it happened in Colombia, in Panama. Juneteenth happened wherever there were slaves, and Europeans were pretty prolific slavers. So there were many countries, like in Colombia, the government in Bogota issues a proclamation liberating slaves. In Cartagena, where most slaves lived, they didn't find out for almost a year and a half later.
Wow.
Same thing in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is a small island. The government in San Juan frees the slaves, but the people in Ponce and Añasco and other slave places, they don't find out until months and sometimes years later. So Juneteenth, for me, is a year-round, should be, and we're going to make it that on Media Vision, a year-round representation.
I'm for truth, no matter who tells it. I'm for justice, no matter who it's for or against. Malcolm X.
Generations of Americans have marched, picketed, and shed blood to establish and defend.
But in America, these conversations have to be had in the context of the power structures that were built, and those power structures were built around white supremacy. And no conversation about racial understanding and I have a dream and oh, we're going to the mountaintop to be one will occur effectively unless we have the courage to confront the demons of slavery and white privilege that have created the foundations of this nation.
Land of the free, land of the brave, land of the racism, land of the slave. Protect and serve shouldn't come with no shame. But in America, a cop can put a black man in his grave. And then life goes on. When you ain't got no voice, ain't no right from wrong. 400 years in this system getting beat up. And if you proud for your country, speak up. So much for Black Hope. That last line was for the white folks. Yeah. I'm tired of playing victim. Daily battles with myself, my kind, and the system. LA born, but my roots from the South. My mindset shouldn't be. Figure it out. I came from nothing. I don't know about wealth, and my mental is traumatized, so understand my health. Hands up, and I'm taking a knee. Watching the news every day like, damn, they talking to me. Older people never thought they would see, cause they've been trying to hold us down from what we destined to be. And I feel it. Now the world do. Systematically oppressed, maybe the world knew. Maybe this was all a dream, the one we never got. Rest in peace to Dr. Martin Luther King. We deserve a win, and this is for the lives of the brown skin. And R.I.P. to George Floyd, you know your death felt that void, and everybody with a heart made noise for you. That's the First Amendment. The Constitution ain't changed, man, it's been consistent. Humanity, it don't matter. The politicians just clarify that you know we even existed. That's a scary thought, but that's reality. America's great tragedy. So a minimum past the HR 40, respect equality and don't punish us with brutality. Yeah.
My name is Dustin Warren, and happy Juneteenth, everybody. Juneteenth is a day of celebration that has been going on for well over 150 years. But sadly, in all that time, racism has not been eradicated in our society. But I believe it can be. And I think the first step is for everyone to realize that racism exists in our society. And I'm not talking about just interpersonally between you and me. If you ask most people, I think they'll say they're not racist, and they're probably right. They probably aren't racist. But what I'm talking about is systemic racism in our healthcare, legal, and educational systems. And that systemic racism is exacerbated by an incredible wealth gap among minorities and white people. The data is there. Dig in, find out for yourself and understand. And then set about doing something yourself. What can you do? You can buy from minority-owned businesses. You can use your vote to elect politicians to bring change to our laws, make access to healthcare affordable and reachable for everybody. People created racism, and people can eradicate racism as well. One love, everybody.
Dirty little secret is a lot of Latinos are very racist. Growing up in Miami, I know that Dominicans are not treated the same as other Latinos. You know, they're just like, those are Black Latinos, you know, or
so Monique, what do you think we can do to shift the attitudes faster?
Teach your children how to act outside of the country of your home.
Yeah.
And my father was always extremely, you know, just instilled in us that you judge people by their heart, you judge them by their attitude, you judge them by, you know, who they are as an individual. Is that the right thing that you
take a good look back to our ancestors and remember we were raised with love, and love conquers all. Be kind to one another.
One of the solutions could be, which I believe, and it's very clear, that we have compassion for each other, that we look at our similarities and not at our differences. If we start doing that, we'll see how much we have in common and how we can work together.
We celebrate.
Let's celebrate together.
Let's celebrate together. Let's celebrate together.
Happy Juneteenth!
Happy Juneteenth, everybody!
I'm Nia Renee, and we are here right now talking about the national holiday, Juneteenth. Right now, I am with Tanya James. Can you please tell us just...
Juneteenth is important to me because it's always been a celebration for me. I was fortunate enough to be adopted by a Black family, and we've always celebrated it's what they say is when the slaves were set free. So we'll just leave it at that because, you know, I'm hip to modern day slavery. So, but it's very important to me, but it's even more important now that it's it's recognized as a national holiday because it gives me hope.
And they have a dream. It's up to us to inspire that dream, to invest in it, to support and guide them. And if we do, their dreams can also come true.
Harry's commitment to the next generation is more than just words. He funded over a dozen students to go and see the Alvin Ailey Dance Theater. And Harry's further commitment to the Black community and to all people is an entertainment complex on the south side of Chicago.
Or we'd be talking about kids across the country in urban areas in certain locations everywhere who don't have an equal break simply because they are Black or Latino, you know, and otherwise deprived.
I think about it as privilege. You know, there's privilege that goes across every aspect of the life of a marginalized person, a person of color in this country, that people who are not of color don't have to deal with. And it affects education, it affects housing, it affects, you know, economics, it affects, you know, how I feel when I walk in a store. The privilege of being looked at twice or no one looks at all and you do your thing.
Do you think that comedy has the power to heal? And if so, can comedy heal a racially divided America?
The perfect example. One of the first Black people to run for the presidency of the United States on a serious level was Mr. Dick Gregory. A lot of people don't know that.
I didn't know that.
Dick Gregory used comedy to get a whole lot of points across. And through Dick Gregory, he was able to galvanize a lot of things concerning the civil rights of all minorities here in this country.
So
Chambers, a member of the 1960s soul rock group, the Chambers Brothers, who had the hit single, Time Has Come Today. How you doing, sir?
Experience. That was quite an experience. We were in the studio with Bob Dylan recording Highway 61 Revisited.
You did plenty of TV shows such as Ed Sullivan's Show, Johnny Carson, The Merv Griffin Show, Mike Douglas Show,
Correct.
Mother's Brothers Show,
Yes.
Bandstand,
Yes.
and Soul Train, just to name a few.
Tell your children they're great. Tell your children they can be whatever they want to be.
So it's a mentality switch that has to happen first.
Yes.